Well, look at you. You got your sunglasses on. You look like a movie star now.
It's sunny, dude. Um, do I sound alright? I can put on my Bluetooth headphones, or is this is okay? That works great.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the bandwidth to kind of catch up here. You're a little spotty, but I don't know. Let's just talk and see how it goes. So yeah, so you're like the big movie star now. You got the look, you got the window down, you're just hanging out now. Now you're like, look, this
So
is
hang on. These are some false assumptions. One, the windows are up. Two,
okay.
the sun is right there, and it happens to be out today with no chemtrails. So I'm driving into it, hence the sunglasses.
Okay, all right.
It's a logical move.
All right, all right. I'll give you that. Anyway, so I mean, just the last thing I saw, you were on Owen's live stream last night, absolutely crushing it. And then the next time I see you, you look like a movie star. I figured it just gone to your head.
No. You know what's really weird on the stream? I'm so used to. I love watching Owen streams, and can you hear me right? It says poor connection, but we
Yep,
good?
we're
All
good.
right. So while he's talking, I forget that I'm on the show. I'm listening to him, and then it's like he says something and he pauses. I'm like, oh, I'm on the show. Excuse me.
I'll have to go back and bleep out all your curse words. No,
Yeah.
no, seriously. Well, that was a good thing because, then it's just a conversation, then it's just like you're sitting down, with a buddy, just having a conversation, and you don't think about this, what, 7,600 people or so, I think I saw was the high point.
78. Who's counting?
There were 7,800, almost 8,000 people were watching live. Right now, the video's got over 40,000 views. This is great. So I want to get into a couple of the salient points. I listened to it again this morning because it was. I'm over in Ireland right now. It was like 4 a.m. when it ended. I was extremely tired and jet lagged. But how did this all come about? Because I know you've been watching him kind of go through this transformation, for the last couple of months, and you just kept pinging him, right? And he was like, "Hey, let's jump on the live stream." How did this all come about?
So it really started from Mark Sargent. Mark Sargent, the first time Owen was bashing NASA, Mark sent me a clip. He goes, "Hey, check this guy out." Boom. Started listening to him, saw his authenticity, liked what he had to say, even when he wasn't talking our two favorite topics, NASA and flat Earth. And I really enjoyed it. So I started messaging him, in the chat. I liked what he was doing. He was making me laugh every day. Sent him a few super chats. I don't think that's why he had me on, but when you're getting that many messages, certain ones get, he was reading the super chats. I was like, okay, that's how I'll get his attention. And we started chatting. We passed information back and forth. He gave me his cell phone number. We started texting, and we set up the show. It was like, hey, come on. So that's it. It's simple. It's two guys sharing information.
That's his approach is so refreshing. Here's a guy that's just open-minded. He gets it. He kept going on and on and on about how he gets the fact that, this is all about keeping people feeling small and insignificant and in fear and whatever the subject is. And it obviously goes into flat Earth versus globe Earth, but in so many different areas. So, and the fact that was questioning the moon landings and now knows that they are a bunch of garbage, what was being peddled in the 60s and 70s. He's ripe for this. And what a better guy than the extreme flat smacker to go on and spend, what was it, an hour just going through. And you were able to hit all the points. It was just great.
No. I needed just another 3.5, 4 hours, and then I could have hit the points. Like he talked to me beforehand. We were texting. He's like, seasons, this and that. So like he even brought up a show, but he's so short attention span. He just goes off, and we never even got to seasons. He's like, I don't understand seasons, and the way to finish that sentence off in reality is on a globe Earth, because seasons make no sense on a globe Earth, and they're one of the easiest things to explain when you have 4 minutes, not 30 seconds.
Sure. Well, you're able to, get the app out there. It was funny. I don't know if you went back and listened to the very end of the show. After you dropped off, he was like, "Yeah, he's a good Jew," and of course, he had to invent an app. He's one of those.
Friggin' Jews. That was the best part. Paige and I were laughing all night. I still woke up laughing this morning. He was texting me this morning asking about vaccines.
Okay.
Thank God, right? Because you and I, we're both over knowledge. We have a ton of knowledge on vaccines. I heard your show on the Do Me podcast, and the
Do Me podcast.
No spaces. But I don't give vaccine information to people unless they ask. I'll give them a little teaser, and give them my opinion. That's it. Because unless somebody asks, they're not going to listen. So he asked this morning, and I'm like, all right, doors open, and we went back and forth for probably 20 minutes. And I just implored him to listen to Dr. Sherry Tenpenny latest interview. It is phenomenal. I sent him a link to my Dropbox with it in there. And one good thing he said was, I said, listen to this. He goes, well, right now I'm binging Crow 777. Awesome, right? So that's good. So I told him to listen to Crow's episode 152 on vaccinations and autism. I don't know if you've heard that one, but man, it takes vaccinations to the next level.
That's
my God.
That was the podcast that I listened to, and Mitchell from Australia listened to. That's the one that kind of got us to do 2 episodes on that. We just, then related that to our own situations, and Mitchell's got a bunch of children, got another one on the way. So this is real life stuff that we're facing as parents these days. So it's that's what spun out of that. So that's great that he's digging into Crow 777. It's going to blow his mind.
Yeah, he said that he doesn't want to give any more vaccinations to his kids. I'm like, thank God. And he's worried that he may have damaged them already. Not that he says they're bright-eyed, smart, brilliant kids. I'm like, don't worry about it. Just stop. I said, just educate yourself, and then you'll know to stop. I'm not going to tell you to stop. But, I am. You couldn't pay me $1 million to take a flu vaccination.
Yep.
$1 million. Think about it, but there's no way.
For $2 million, okay. Well, I'll think about it.
I'll think about it. But I was starting to tell him that he's living the wholesome life. He's living with growing his own chickens, his goats, foraging for food, growing food. His kids are running barefoot in the yard. They're grounded.
That's awesome.
That's gonna detox. They're out in the sunlight. Most kids get none of this. They get manufactured foods, they get full vaccinations, and they're insulated from the earth, and that's how the toxicity builds up. He's in the country. He's got the American dream. That's what the American dream is, what he has.
Yep, exactly. Can you move your camera down just a little bit, if you wouldn't mind, if possible?
Sorry.
I think it got bumped a little bit, and now we're looking at the ceiling. Okay. No, looks good. No, not a big deal. You're right on. He's very blessed right now, and I think he knows it. He realizes it. Being able to, have that kind of life. So totally jealous.
So, no, don't be jealous. You can be appreciative of it. But we talked about it a little bit at the end, where he doesn't live in fear. He takes what he knows and transmutes it into what he wants.
Right on. So let's talk about. I took a couple of notes here. Some parts there's one part I want to get your take first of all. What you thought was the best part, if you can recall. Maybe where you thought you nailed something, or something that really resonated with Owen. But I've got one. But what was the highlight for you? What do you think when you're thinking back on this recap in this stream last night?
Everyone's really saying it was great. I got super nice notes, voice messages from hundreds of people saying I nailed it out of the ballpark. I think I did the best that I can do under the circumstances. Whoa, my low power mode. I think I did the best that I could do under the circumstances where subjects were changing fast. We didn't have any visual aids. This topic is a very visual aid needed topic. It's hard to discuss lots of topics. Like if we tried to get into sunset, you can't get there. So I was happy with the fact that, I was able to tell, take the time. That's really takes time. Yeah, can you hear me? Are you frozen?
No, I can hear you. It's breaking up a little bit. Wonder if we should try and reconnect.
That's it. Let me call you. Yeah, I'll call you back. All right?
Yeah, just call me right back and see if we can get a better connection.
Let's see if that works.
No problem. No problem.
Am I good?
Yeah, no, it looks great. Looks great. Yeah, it's just we're running video. You're running on a cell phone signal. I'm on a Wi-Fi, and we just don't have the best connection.
Satellites need to be in the right positions, and when they move out of position, we lose connection.
Well, are they moving or we moving? That's the problem. Everybody just needs to just stop.
We're spinning and they're spinning. It's very difficult. Telecom, as I look at the ceiling. Hold on. Let me try to prop this up as I probably kill myself trying to frame my picture.
Yeah, no, be careful. Be careful. No rush.
All right, here we go.
Be safe. Be safe.
There we go.
All right. Well, hey, before we lost connection, you were talking about, I asked you kind of what the highlight was, and you're right on. Considering the circumstances, no visual aids, just two guys chatting. You're trying to illustrate stuff, you put stuff into words that would be best on paper. You're able to show them the app. You got to talk a little about your app and that sort of thing. You did the best you could, but what was your favorite part?
I got to go back and listen to it again. But, I like when I gave him my example of the sun being right next to the earth and moving 8 light minutes away. That's one, if you really think about it.
That was my favorite part. That was
good.
Yeah, no, that was the part I was going to bring up, because you did that example with a pebble, and it was fills the sky, and then you move it away, and that's 93 million miles. That's 8 light minutes. Then you move it to a light hour, and he's like, and his response was great. And he was talking about the powers that should not be. And he said something like, and they are such dicks. Your sun is so basic. It's not even a cool sun, it's just an average sun. And he kind of went off there, and I just thought it was great. It really resonated with him that, the depth of the deception there. And I think it just made a lot of sense that there's no way you could see the sun if you move it away just a light hour. And we're told that these stars are trillions of miles away. And you did the example of 31,000 hours, a trillion seconds. And he was just like, boom. It was awesome.
The example is, next time you go outside, it's much easier to do this outside. Go outside where you have a horizon-to-horizon view and look at the size of the sky. And imagine that the sun is so close that it fills the entire sky. That's easily done on the scale that they tell us. And then you move it away to where it's the size of a dime held at arm's right. If you doubled that distance, it's got to shrink equally as much. You can't see it. And then I say 8 times, and that's a light hour. It's numbers that you can't even fathom. Like, people can barely fathom what a billion is, let alone a trillion.
Yeah.
And I always bring that up. A trillion seconds is 31,000 years.
Years, right? not 31,000 minutes. 30 or months. 31,000 years. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Which I don't even think exists in the past.
Yeah.
I don't know if 31,000 years. I don't think 31,000 years ever existed, right? And then NASA's using terms like quadrillion and quintillion. A quintillion is 31 billion years. One quintillion seconds.
31 billion years.
31 billion years.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole point. You make the numbers big. You make yourself feel small. Everything's so big. You pushed, and this is what's resonating with Owen. I think this came up a couple of times. Talking about this is about hiding a creator, hiding a God. Making us feel small, living in fear. You're separating that as much as possible, and that's where the mind control comes in. And I think I don't think he gets it. He reiterated that a few times.
Yeah, and that is something, I wanted to point out to him that before Flat Earth has, and I'm very careful with my words, has brought me to the realization that there's a creator, okay? And, the Christians are like, just pushing for me to say more, and need to say more. I'm just saying there's a creator. You figure it out from there. Okay?
Right on.
And that's kind of my place. That's what I do.
Well, I thought it was great. Speaking of that, you brought up the Celebrate Truth 24/7 live stream, because there's a lot of Christians that are going to see this. They're going to see this video on YouTube or whatever. They're going to be made aware of the resources. Obviously, you brought up some great websites, Stop, Look, Think. You brought up the Do Me podcast, which I sincerely appreciate. Dome Life, just to correct you on that. That's how I would say it. And so let's say you brought up Jeranism. You separated the movement, the real researchers from the Flat Earth Society, and showed people, told them how to do some research and to get through all the garbage. That's stuff that you got to do every time with somebody new, because they're just going to go Google Flat Earth, like you said, and they're going to come up with all the crap, and they're going to dismiss it right away, which is the whole idea. That's why the stuff is at the top of the search.
So that's why, I wasn't even going to bring up the app because I didn't want to come on there like he's pushing his app. And the reason I push my app is because it's a great tool. One, when you're explaining Flat Earth to show people. Two, it's helping you even figure it out. Like, I didn't understand how the sun was in the zodiac until I made the app, right? Until
awesome.
I added that to the app, because then I had to figure it out. I'm like, wow, that makes so much sense. And then and people love it. And then the daylight savings that I added to the app, where the sun is off the hour hand, I literally look at that and I feel good, right? That shows you how important the sky clock is. But the greatest thing about the app, in my opinion, is like if you get somebody that you're talking Flat Earth with, they're like, I don't believe it, but I'm interested. That's good. We've all been there. You get them to get the app and say, just every day when you're getting dressed, you have to check the weather in the morning to see what you're wearing. So use the app to check the weather, and then click the daily video. I have a nice short one during the week when people are getting ready for work, and longer ones on the weekends. And if you watch that for 2 weeks, you're gonna be a flat earther. It's literally like smoking crack for 2 weeks. You're done. There it is.
There it is. I use it all the time as well. It's a great resource. If there's anybody that's watching this that has an iPhone or an Android phone, so that's pretty much 99.9% of everybody. You need to get the app and you need to use it. And I have an old iPhone. I have an Android now, but I have an old iPhone. That's my desk clock now. It's great. I turned off the little timeout thing. It's plugged in, so now it's my desk clock, which is awesome. That's the whole point. It's a great tool.
Yeah, and by the way, it costs $2.99. I did try to give away a free version, but it ran into a bunch of problems with that. And the app cost me 5 figures higher and continues to cost me monthly fees. And that's putting all my time and effort for free. Then I'm up all night talking to the guys in India. So I will tell you now that the app is paying for itself, but I keep adding more. I'm adding the next update is going to have the weather just shows you the high and low for the day, which is good enough. But if you want the detailed forecast, you can be able to click the weather, and it's going to give you your very local forecast, which it'll bring you right to that page. And then I'm also adding notifications, and you can turn them off in your settings if you want, where when a special event like last night or when I upload a new video, the notification will tell you what the video is about rather than just the thumbnail.
It's great.
So,
it's great.
Good things. And then what I'm also doing with some of the money, it's not a lot of money, but when the money comes in, I'm reinvesting it into the Flat Earth community. I sent Owen some super chats, and I'll say that's with Flat Earth clock money. I support other YouTube providers, and I am putting this back in to get the information out. So it's $3. And I told anybody that has an Android, if you really can't afford it, send me an email. Tell me who you are, what the story is, and I'll give you a free download.
It's too bad you have to justify the cost, because knowing what you invested just in your time, not to mention obviously out of your own pocket monetarily, but just the time to get that thing going in time for the conference, I know was a huge, huge effort. So you don't need to justify it in my mind. And if you're not using it, I'd say spend the $3, get it even for your own benefit. But you know what, sharing it with people when you're sitting, on the bus, when you're standing in line or whatever, with friends and family, it's great. I've been able to share it with friends and families, just showing them and just say, hey, and we get into the conversation. I can just pull it up on my phone because it's always with me when they're talking about seasons or how the intricate time piece that is our world, how it all works.
The,
It just resonates with people.
when seasons is great, and you show them, you put on the time lapse, and then you say, okay, I'm going to jump forward 3 months, and you hit the button, and then you see the sun move, and then people go, oh, that's how it works. And then once you see it, you can't unsee it.
That's right. That's exactly right. Well, I really like how he, speaking again of Owen last night, I really liked how he gave you a chance to talk about how to, I guess what I'm trying to say is how to do the research, because just people knowing that flat Earth is a thing, I think, is the starting point, and getting them to go and do that research. And so you were able to bring up, I think, some salient points. Look, he even admitted, I think he's a flat earther. I just don't think he's going to say it. He calls himself a globe skeptic, which is the first step. But obviously, anybody that's in his position that continues to learn about ham radio and how it works on a flat Earth, and how it couldn't work on a globe Earth, as you pointed out, and the sun setting and some of these other things that he brought up, he's going to get there eventually. I think
the globe explanation for ham radio is complete utter garbage. If the world was the way they say it is, the radio signals would not bounce off the ground. You can't bounce a radio signal off the Earth. It gets soaked right in.
It's absorbed, exactly.
And on a flat Earth, it's a straight line. You don't need to bounce off of anything. I mean, maybe there's some bounce up there, but it's not necessary if you have a clear shot.
That's right.
And weather conditions, electrical conditions in the sky, and then, the close and small local sun and moon being electrical, magnetic in nature, that explains everything.
Yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it. And that's what I was going to bring up. You're able to bring up the electric universe, talk a little about how that affects things, and potentially how that allows, like you said, there's some days, and especially at night, that's where you would find those longest distances of transmissions, because of the lack of interference, and that's how it works. So yeah, if we were on a spinning ball flying through space, I think that's what people need to understand that are questioning things, is that if we were on a ball flying through space, spinning around, air travel, this communication, the satellites, all that stuff wouldn't be possible if you understand, how things are supposed to work, or how we're told that they work. It wouldn't be possible if that was, what we were actually living on.
I wanted to get into the example of, we're spinning, we're orbiting, and we're rocketing forward, which is the most important one.
Chasing the sun.
Chasing the sun, and the stars never change. Every year on the same date, they're in the exact same position, when literally 5 hours later, they should be in different positions.
Yeah, have you seen? There's some great memes that are showing, if what star trails would look like, a time lapse of 5 hours if we were spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, orbiting at 66,000 miles an hour, chasing the sun at 500,000 miles an hour. What the sky would actually look like in a time lapse, and it looks like my daughter's coloring book.
Oh yeah. That's funny. Yeah.
No, you brought up a good point. When you mentioned spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, and you said that's faster than the speed of sound, that resonated with him right there. He was like, "Dude, how come we're not sonic booming our way through the galaxy right now?"
Right. It's complete and utter nonsense. It's so once you wake up to all of this, you look back and go, how was I such an idiot? Right? How did we ever believe that? It's literally where we woke up from a nightmare,
Yeah.
Into a nightmare, but a nightmare into another nightmare.
It's what is that? Inception. It's a different level, right? It's just a different dream. No, you're right. We didn't have a chance, though. That they get us early. That's the whole point. And I think Owen gets that. He understands the mind control, the programming. He doesn't. And I think he even said it. He goes, "I don't think we're spinning." He goes, "I have a harder time with the Earth being flat, but the motion of the Earth, he goes, that's just complete garbage, and he gets it. So that's,
What
people do a little bit of research, and he talked about circumnavigation, and you went through a lot of these points that come up that are the kind of the first things that people use to question it, and I think you addressed them very well.
What did when I said to him, "What's your number one reason that you think it's a ball?" Did he answer me?
He brought up the ham radio. He goes, that's the one that I'm having trouble with right now. So that's.
You know what? I bit my tongue several times with saying, I used to think you were smart, but the fact that you think that ham radio proves the ball, I mean, does anyone really think that other than him?
Yeah, well, he asked you, what's the best flat Earth proof? And you brought up seeing too far. You talked about the Earth being 70% water, and the water is always, level. And you brought up, I thought, the great point. And Mitchell and I, just in our last podcast, we're hammering this home, and that is the air pressure on, next to a vacuum without a barrier. So these are key points that when somebody just puts on their thinking cap and he actually uses their brain and thinks logically, is gonna make sense.
I didn't get to finish my point. That was the part that would upset me, was when I said, the trillions of pounds of oceans. I said, but gravity's holding the air down, but I can suck air and water upwards with the weak vacuum of my lungs.
Yeah.
That makes no sense, because he jumped in and was literally reconfirming what we were saying and how it's ridiculous. But you only can do what you can do. That was the time flew.
Oh, I'm sure it just flew by. Yeah, so he brought up that obviously the argument that anybody would, that has been programmed, is, oh well, I just think gravity explains it. But yeah, you can use use your head, think of some of these examples, and how it doesn't hold water literally, because of these demonstrations, and like Mitchell did with his just glass upside down with a lid on it, and how easy it is to debunk it with a very simple vacuum. I thought, Mitchell, I don't know if anybody who's listening heard our last podcast, but just talking about on this point is that a vacuum or a low air pressure system next to a high pressure, or a pressure differential does not exist in nature if it weren't for humanity. We're the ones that create a pressure differential, and we use it to work. We use it to do things. That doesn't exist in nature. And to think that is then potentially what is all around us, you're just now extrapolating into science fiction world. There's no way. There's no two ways around it.
Wouldn't a Glober say, well, yes, it does, because the Earth's atmosphere is next to the vacuum of space, so it does exist. It does happen in nature.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's right. But I disagree. It doesn't happen in nature. No, I think there's a dome over us. I think it's a firmament. He brought up Psalm 19:1 on Werner von Braun's tombstone, which is great. This is some great stuff. That's why I called my podcast Dome Life, because I think that we are in, even if there is a low pressure system outside of the dome, that's fine. At least I've got a barrier, so I'm not breaking any natural laws.
Yeah, how was I wasn't watching the chat because I couldn't. How was
Dude,
the chat?
The chat was flying by. Again, it was 4:00 in the morning for me when this thing ended. It was going way too fast, and I'm on my phone, so it's already.
That's tough.
It's impossible. So I try to throw some stuff in there every once in a while. I couldn't follow it. There was, like you said, almost 8,000 people watching. I don't know how many people were chatting. It was absolutely flying by. People can go on Owen's channel and watch it, and you'll watch the live chat to be able to catch some of the things. It was awesome.
Does the chat replay with the show?
I believe it does. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You should be able to go back and watch that, and you'll be able to see some of the stuff. The chat was great. There was a lot of familiar faces there in there. You had a ton of support. We were flat smacking when we could get a word in. It was flying by, but we were flat smacking all of those 8,000 people that were in there. So it was.
I
was
went
awesome.
He posted the show early, and there was 150 people in the chat like 4 or 5 hours before the show, and I jumped in there for about an hour. Answering people's questions. It was quite pleasant. People were like, "Hey, what about this?" And I wish I could post links, because you can't type all that stuff out. So I was telling people, go watch this video, and just giving the name and the channel. But people were like, "Wow, that's interesting. Thanks." And if we woke up 10 people, that's great. But I think we woke up a lot more than 10.
Well, that's good. I was going to ask you, kind of, thinking back now, reminiscing a bit, what do you think the impact's going to be? He does a live stream every day. You think he's going to talk a little bit more about it today on his next stream?
He has to. definitely talk about it. And he did say he'll have me back anytime. So I'm sure we'll be back on again talking about lots of stuff. And you know what? I'm not the only person out there. There are other people that can talk to him that have other information. I think he should have Crow on. I think he should have you on. But you're no offense. You'd be great, but he already knows NASA's fake.
Yeah,
right?
No.
But you have all of the information. I did plug faking space, didn't I? Did you hear that?
I'm on crappy Airbnb Wi-Fi in the west coast of Ireland, and it leaves a lot to be desired. So my apologies. Technical difficulties, but I think we got it sorted out for now. Fingers crossed. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I was thanking you for the faking space shout out. You were talking about hopefully some more conversations with some other people in the community, and I appreciate you saying that. You think I do a good job. I can bring some more moon landing stuff, but he's already made up his mind, and I agree with him 1,000% that was just a stage, and they just shot the simulations and all that. I could probably bring some new stuff to the table, but at the end of the day, it's only going to confirm more about the moon landings being fake, but. I'd love to see him bring some other people on. I'd love to see Bob Nodell go on the show. I think he would be great to talk about some of the technical stuff that I think Owen needs to get to get to that point where you can go, yeah, this stuff, the technology we have and how things actually work. The Loran system, the towers. We don't need satellites in space. It makes no sense. We wouldn't even need satellite. We don't even need the satellites. It would be cost prohibitive to do it that way when we have the ground-based system already. Stuff like that, I think, is really going to help Owen take the next step. I think Bob would do a great job.
I'd like to see my co-host Matt Long from Woketown on, because Matt's funny looking, and he gets the Christian side of it. So
Absolutely.
I think they'd have a great conversation.
Absolutely. No question. That'd be great. That would be great. I think there's going to be a follow-up. I really hope that Owen continues to talk about this publicly. He's just fun to listen to. I know I can see why you and Paige like to listen to his show. It's just great. He's a comedian. He's great at communicating. He's just entertaining. And I just love that he's got this he's got a big circle of influence, and him talking about this is great. I think is he gonna get a call from Neil? And Neil's gonna have to fly in and have a conversation like Neil did with Katy Perry.
I actually believe that he already sees through Neil, and I don't think he'll bend the knee to Neil no matter what. Because you can't. Rogan bent the knee to Neil for money. And I believe what Owen says is that it's not about more. It's about just doing the right thing. I mean, look at the way he set himself up. He's not looking to get bigger. He's just looking to be solid and real. And a lot of others told me, but why is DITRH promoting this shill, this guy? All of this nonsense talk. Saying that he's gonna burn us. No, he's not. I'm losing I'm bouncing around here. And the reason I mirrored so many of clips of his is because they're great. They're really good information. They're inspiring, and they make you laugh. I went to bed laughing last night because of his closing statement. It was fantastic. I literally woke up in the middle of the night giggling.
You people can't help yourselves.
Yeah, figure he's made an app.
Figures.
you know how he found out that I was Jewish.
Oh.
When he made the post on Facebook that he was going to have DITRH on, I commented, I was like, oh great, you're having a Jew on.
Classic stuff. Yeah, people don't see through all of that talk, he's a shill, going to destroy this or that. I mean, it's paranoia, flat out, in my opinion, and people just need to, the spirit of discernment has got to take over. You've got to think logically about this. We're not supposed to be having these conversations at these levels with this many people seeing it, and that's why the conversations are going to happen. So at the end of the day, It was great, and I want to wrap up here because I don't know how much longer my internet's going to hang out, and I just appreciate you jumping on today. It looks like you're off and going to be doing some work. So, hey, just let me say, good job last night. It was awesome. I thought you knocked it out of the park. You're going to go back. You're going to go back and you're going to watch your performance, and you're going to think of 1,000 things that you wish you would have said. That's normal. I thought you did a great job. You were in the moment. It was just two guys having a conversation. And it was awesome. Owen was very receptive to this stuff. He's open-minded, and he's got a huge circle of influence. There's no way this does not help the community and create more awareness. And he couldn't have had a better guy on last night to just kind of walk through this stuff and be real with them. And I thought it was great.
Yeah, that's it was good. I was happy to be on talking with them like two buddies, and I think I saw a couple videos by some people, some fans that put up stuff. I think you even commented one saying they enjoyed it and now they're looking into flat Earth. Some girl put up like a 45-second video. I forget who it was, but there's a whole bunch of stuff. So there's a lot of people looking into flat Earth today, and that's our common goal: get new people looking into this. The one thing didn't point out, which I wish I did, the 1 millionth thing I didn't point out was that the trolls will say flat Earth is dying, right? That is like the dumbest thing ever, because flat Earth is expanding. It's, as Owen says, it's spiraling upwards at an exponential rate. It is unreal. I mean,
that's all they got. They got insults. They call you a retard, and then they're just going to try and downplay it. They got nothing else. They got no science. All they got is stories and theories that are not anything of anything of substance. So what are they going to do? They're just going to badmouth it with garbage like it's dying. Well, the exact opposite is happening. It is, like you say, ever growing and ever expanding right now because more and more people are waking up because it just makes sense.
People say to me, "Are you going to the conference?" I think you even said it to me, and I'm like, "Which one?" Amsterdam, New Zealand, England, the USA, Canada. It's like, think about that. That's crazy. There's conferences everywhere expanding.
Yeah, exactly. If this thing is so dumb, it's so stupid, it would have died a long time ago. NASA would have just put us all to put everything to rest if they could, but they can't. You brought up the no live stream from the moon. We were able to live stream, get people there safely and back in the 60s and 70s. He goes, it is against all human nature for us to regress technology. There is no way this would happen. We would have, he said, something like, there would be a corporate sponsorship there. How come no private company has a commercial up there? How come they're not having golf tournaments up there right now? It's ridiculous that this doesn't happen. It was a great point that you and he both made.
I wanted to bring up the Tesla thing, but we ran out of time. Like, how come there's not a photo of that Tesla in space in every Tesla dealership?
That's right.
Patricia came up with that the other day, and I'm just like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And
are you trying to tell me that Ford and Chevy, Tesla's in space? There's no Ford or no Chevy that's been launched in space by now. They would have paid for that immediately. Because they got to get their car up there, and because having millions and millions of people see the Ford logo and the Chevy logo in space headed to Mars. This is marketing, people.
How come it wasn't on the cover of Time Magazine, Newsweek, Popular Mechanics? None of those. None.
No, because if people started looking into it, they would realize what a complete, what it is, pile of what.
The people that believe it, I've told the story. The people are talking about it after it happened. Oh my God, it's so amazing! And I'm like, did you see it? They're like, well, no, I didn't, but I heard about it. It's just like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
Yeah, it's great. People see through it. People are smart, and the ones that are involved in the community and talking and going and flat smacking and just getting involved, and they're the ones who I think it was Owen that said it. I'm trying to think of it here. I made some notes. I'm trying to think what he said now. I'm going to try and pull it out of thin air. It was just something about, it's the smart people. It was about questioning everything. Again, it was the common theme. It was like, the smart people are questioning things. They're not just going to take it lying down anymore. Intellectually honest people and things like that. So, it's a point well received, I think, and people are getting it. So, when you talk about the whole community as a whole and it growing, the simple fact is that people are smart. They're going to figure this thing out. Once they realize it's a thing and they've got some resources they can go look at and study and use their brains, like you said at the very end. Use your brains, think critically. The smart ones are going to figure this out, and I think the ones that are just trolling are the ones that, I don't know, maybe they're pissed off that they didn't figure out sooner.
Did I make my point about that we shouldn't be afraid of cosmic rays and X-rays and gamma rays? We should be afraid of radio waves because they're the ones that can penetrate through the Van Allen radiation belt. So that's crazy.
50 years ago, they were doing it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Owen brought up a good point. He's saying, it took like what, 25 million watts to go 1,000 miles. Well, you just need to go and look at what the power of the antenna was that they were broadcasting in the 60s and 70s, 240,000 miles, and you'll see that that's impossible. Impossible.
Yeah.
Technologically impossible.
The reason people believe is because they're lazy.
They're easy.
Lazy.
It's easy. It's easy.
Yeah.
Just accept what you're told and go about your business. It's easy. Yeah, it's hard work to do it.
It takes zero effort and it frees up your entire day.
That's right. It is. It's lazy. We're in an on-demand lifestyle, and if you can't convince me in 5 minutes, I remember I had a call on TFR.
5 minutes. 5 minutes. 5 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, there was. I had a call the other day on TFR. It was near the end of the show too. He was like, "Well, yeah. I mean, I keep hearing about this flat Earth thing or something. I can't remember what exactly this person said. But he was like, basically, he was like, in 5 minutes, convince me." And I'm like, "Dude, no, this is not the time or the place. If you're just looking to try and understand this in 5 minutes, we don't really want you on the team. That's not the type of people we're looking for. I'm sorry." You got to be a little bit more. Let's just say you're gonna have to practice some due diligence here.
Well, you send them to watch Flat Earth in 5 minutes, and then you'll realize you need more than 5 minutes.
Yeah,
the video Flat Earth in 5 minutes, great video. All it will do is basically, I always equate it to crack for some reason. It lets you smoke a little crack, and then you realize you need some more crack.
Yeah, that's right. You just get them hooked. That's all you got to do. You just give them a little bit, and they kind of.
That's what my channel is. I got the little nuggets of free crack on my channel. All of my 2-minute, 5-minute videos, 3-minute videos, and you watch enough of those, now you got to watch a longer video and a longer video and a longer video. One flat earther, someone was talking to me before the stream, said, "I hope he does a long stream. I'm tired of these short 90-minute, shows."
What?
Right? Those are the true words of a flat earther. Hey, give me a 3-hour, stream of information because we know that it takes time to get the messages across.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've got on my channel, I've got Flat Earth in 60 seconds. So if you don't have a minute to spare to look into this, hopefully what that'll do is people will watch that and then maybe I'll give it 5 minutes now. I've gave it one. You've piqued my interest. Now I'm going to head over to Darth Earth's channel and watch a 5-minute video.
That was good. Good time. I guess I'll have to listen to it. I guess when I hang up, I'll listen to it on the rest of my drive.
All right, yeah. And again, you'll think of 1,000 things you should have said, but you know what? You can't have the moment back, and you were great in the moment. So good job. I said, like I said before, I said there's going to be this moment is either going to define you or you're going to define the moment. And I think everybody that watched it last night realized that you definitely defined the moment. So good job. My hat's off to you. And I cannot wait to see you hopefully you can get another chance to continue the conversation.
Do you think Savanier liked it?
I didn't even know who that was until 10, 15 minutes in when you said something like Savanier's 200 proof. So it was funny. And that's what Owen said. He goes, "Yeah, we fought about it. We called each other gay, and now we're okay." That was hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know if how the other side felt about that, but that is literally how guys are. You get a fight, you punch each other, you call each other fags, and it's over.
I wonder what happened. I don't know if you did you hear what happened? Something about Owen said something about if he learns how to email correctly or something like that. I'll have him on the show. I don't even know what happened.
Well, it was just nonsense where they were emailing back and forth. Eric emailed him. He expects Owen to see it with his millions of emails. There was a miscommunication on paper. It was completely Owen's fault. I'll say that completely. But Owen's a comedian, okay? And he made a comment the other day. If you don't want me to mock you, don't follow me, okay? And so there was miscommunications, but without saying anything bad, somebody does have a stick up his ass. It's excuse me, you can believe that if you have to. And Owen saw through it early on, and the people that surround people like that also are an idiot. I wanted to make a point on the show that if you get 5 people in any group together, Christians, flat earthers, ball earthers, organic food lovers, one of them is going to be retarded and one of them is going to be a fundamentalist, okay? At least.
Yeah.
And that happens in every group.
That's human nature. That's how it works.
Yeah, you can't judge, there's idiot flat earthers. There's idiot Christians. There's idiots everywhere. That's probably not the best word, but people are mixed. You get a group of people together, you're going to have a mix. Take what you like, leave what you don't like. That's
right. Well said. Well said. All right. All right, let's wrap up. Thanks for taking the time. I wanted to do a recap. I wanted to get your thoughts the morning after. Hopefully you got a good night's sleep, and go back and listen to it and enjoy it. You did a great job. I can't say it enough.
All right, Paul, thanks.
You pumped me up. It was a great job. So, all right, take care, Dave. Thanks for your time.
All right.
Drive safe.
Bye.
See ya.